My girlfriend posted, if he wanted to, he would, after I said no to a $4,000 vacation with her friends. I texted back, you're right. Then I canceled the trip I had already planned for just us, packed up her things from my place, and blocked her number. When she came back from that girl's trip, she found out exactly who already did what I wouldn't. You know that saying, if he wanted to, he would. It's the kind of thing you see on Instagram, plastered over a picture of a sunset or a ridiculously good-looking couple on a yacht. It's the official slogan for women who believe their boyfriends should be a combination of a mind reader, a magician, and a walking ATM. My now ex-girlfriend, Monica, treated that phrase like it was gospel. Unfortunately for her, she was about to get a very literal lesson in its meaning. It all started, as most of my headaches did, with a brunch. Monica came back to my apartment from a bottomless mimosa session with her 3 friends, who I privately referred to as the Coven. She had that look in her eye, the one that meant she'd been scrolling through social media and had decided her life was tragically unfabulous and that I was the designated contractor for its renovation. She flopped onto the couch next to me, phone in hand. Babe, you will never guess what Tiffany is doing for her birthday. I didn't have to guess. She was already showing me a picture of a beach in Tulu, Mexico. She's taking everyone, for a whole week, all-inclusive, she announced, as if this was the most incredible act of generosity since the invention of charity. I run a small engineering firm. I do well. I'm comfortable, but I'm not an idiot. I live in a nice place because I own it, not because I rent it. I drive a reliable car that's paid off. My idea of a good time is a weekend in the mountains, not dropping $4,000 on a trip designed for social media content. That's nice of her, I said, turning my attention back to the game on TV. Well, she said, dragging the word out. That's the thing. Her boyfriend is paying for her half, but the rest of us have to cover our own. It's only like $4,000. Only. The word hung in the air between us. I looked at her. She had the perfectly practiced pleading look on her face, the one that usually worked. Monica, $4,000 is a lot of money for a trip with your friends, I said, keeping my voice even. But it's Tiffany's birthday, she said, as if that made it a national holiday. And besides, we never go anywhere. This was, to put it mildly, a lie. We went places. We just went to places I thought were actually interesting, not just places with good lighting for selfies. But that wasn't the real kicker. The real kicker was that I had already booked and paid for a surprise trip for just the 2 of us for our anniversary next month. 10 days in a quiet, beautiful corner of northern Italy. We're talking a lakeside villa, incredible food, scenic drives, the whole 9 yards. It was a trip for us, a real vacation, not a performance for our followers. It had cost me a hell of a lot more than $4,000, but it was an investment in my relationship. Or so I thought. I don't have $4,000 to spend on a girl's trip to Mexico right now, I said. It was a polite way of saying, there is a 0% chance I am paying for you to go get drunk in another country with 3 people I can't stand. The change in her was instant. The pleading look vanished, replaced by a cold, hard glare. I can't believe you, she said. It's like you don't even care about my happiness. The conversation devolved from there into the usual circular argument. It ended with her storming into the bedroom and slamming the door. I just sighed and turned up the volume on the game. I figured she'd get over it in a day or 2. I was wrong. The next afternoon, my phone buzzed. It was a notification that she had tagged me in a post. I opened Instagram, and there it was. A professionally vague, passive-aggressive masterpiece. It was a picture of a sunset, probably stolen from Google Images, with that phrase written in elegant script, if he wanted to, he would. There it was. A public declaration that I, the uncooperative boyfriend, was failing in my duties. My crime. Refusing to finance a last-minute $4,000 party trip. I looked at the post, then at the comments already rolling in from the Coven. Tiffany wrote, he doesn't deserve you, Queen. Megan, this is what I'm talking about. Know your worth. They were publicly shaming me for being financially responsible. I stared at the screen and I didn't get angry. A strange sense of calm washed over me. It was like a complex engineering problem had suddenly been simplified. The variables were clear. The objective was defined. I took a screenshot of her post. I opened my messaging app, attached the image, and sent it to her with a 2-word reply. You're right. Then I put my phone on silent. She thought she was playing a game of emotional chess, trying to checkmate me into paying for a trip. She had no idea I had just flipped the whole board over. She was about to find out what it really meant when a man wants to, and what he does when he really, really doesn't. Update 1. It's been a week since my last post. A lot has happened and my apartment has gotten significantly cleaner and about 150 pounds lighter. Thanks for all the support and the hilarious comments. Some of you guys are twisted, and I appreciate that. So, after I sent Monica that you're right text, my phone was quiet for exactly 11 minutes. I imagine that's how long it took for her and the coven to debate the meaning of my message. Then, the floodgates opened. A string of texts. What does that mean? Are you serious? You're being so childish. This was followed by a series of missed calls. I ignored them all. I was busy. I had a project to manage. My first call was to the travel agency that had booked the Italy trip. I explained the situation to the agent, a nice woman named Brenda who had been very excited for me. Brenda, I said. I have some unfortunate news. It appears my girlfriend has a previously unscheduled career-defining brunch or something, so our trip to Italy is off. She was confused but professional. There was a hefty cancellation fee which I was fine with. I considered it the idiot tax for not seeing the red flags sooner. Still, I got a substantial amount of money refunded to my account. Phase 2 began immediately. I hired a moving company that specialized in discreet professional relocations. That's a fancy term for, we pack up your ex's stuff so you don't have to. While Monica was at work the next day, 2 guys showed up with about 100 boxes. It was a fascinating archaeological dig through the remnants of our relationship. The sheer volume of stuff was staggering. Clothes, shoes, makeup, and about 1,000 decorative pillows that you weren't actually allowed to use. They packed up everything. Every last hair clip, every half-empty bottle of ridiculously expensive face cream, every live laugh love sign. I supervised the whole operation, making sure they didn't accidentally pack my toothbrush or my dignity. Her belongings were taken to a climate-controlled storage unit. I paid for the first month. I had the key and the access code sent to her friend Tiffany's address via courier, along with a cashier's check for the security deposit she'd never paid me for the apartment. I included a simple typed note. As you pointed out, if I wanted to, I would. It turns out, I don't. This is me growing up. Have a nice trip. I spent the rest of the evening cleaning. I scrubbed the apartment from top to bottom. I threw out all the scented candles that made my place smell like a Yankee Candle factory exploded. I reclaimed my bathroom counter. It was therapeutic. Meanwhile, Monica was having a meltdown. Her texts had turned from confused to furious. She accused me of being a psycho, of being controlling. She even had her mom call me, who I politely told that her daughter's relationship issues were not a topic I was going to discuss with her. The best part? She actually decided to go on the trip to Mexico. I guess she couldn't stand the humiliation of telling her friends that her ATM had been shut down. I found out later from a mutual acquaintance that she put the whole $4,000 on her credit card, a card that I knew for a fact was already close to its limit. She went, determined to project an image of an unbothered, independent woman having the time of her life. Her Instagram was a masterclass in denial. Pictures of cocktails on the beach, boomerangs of her and her friends laughing, all captioned with inspiring quotes about self-worth and not settling. It was like watching someone try to put out a house fire with a water pistol. While she was busy curating her fake vacation, I was reallocating some recently freed up capital. My younger sister Jenna is a graphic designer. She's incredibly talented, but she's been struggling to get her freelance business off the ground. She's been working on an old, slow laptop, using outdated software, and taking on cheap projects just to make rent. She has the drive and the talent, but she's never had the resources. She's the opposite of Monica in every way, hardworking, humble, and deeply passionate about what she does. She had been saving up for a new computer and a professional-grade software suite, but it was slow going. The total cost was about $5,000. So I took the money that was refunded from the canceled Italy trip, added a little extra, and went shopping. I bought her the most powerful laptop on the market, a huge professional monitor, the full Adobe Creative Cloud subscription for a year, and a top-of-the-line drawing tablet. I had it all delivered to her small apartment. I didn't tell her it was coming. I just got a call from her an hour after it was delivered. She was sobbing, but these were the good kind of tears. She was completely overwhelmed. She kept asking what she had done to deserve it. You worked for it, I told her. I'm not giving you a gift. I'm making an investment in your business. You can pay me back when you're a big shot. There was a long silence on the other end of the line. Then she just whispered, thank you. So while Monica was racking up credit card debt to prove a point to a guy who wasn't even watching, I was investing in someone's future. Someone who actually had one. Monica's trip ends tomorrow. She's going to come back to a maxed out credit card, a bunch of stuff in a storage unit, and a harsh dose of reality. She thought the ultimate power move was posting a passive-aggressive meme. She's about to find out what a real power move looks like. She's about to find out who did with the money I wouldn't. Final update, the show is over, the curtains have dropped, and I've never felt better. The past 2 weeks have been illuminating. I honestly expected more of a fight when Monica got back from Mexico, but what I got was so much more satisfying. She returned on a Sunday night, sunburnt, and from what I heard, in a terrible mood. The trip, apparently, was not the paradise she'd portrayed on Instagram. According to my source, a friend of a friend who knows one of the coven, the vibe soured quickly once her friends realized she was expecting them to cover her drinks and meals after her card got declined on day 3. The all-inclusive resort wasn't as all-inclusive as she thought. She didn't try to come to my apartment right away. I think she was too proud, or maybe she was trying to formulate a strategy. She stayed with Tiffany for a couple of days. That arrangement ended abruptly when the storage unit company called Tiffany's phone, reminding her that the next month's rent was due in a week. I guess Tiffany wasn't thrilled about being the point of contact for Monica's mountain of useless junk. The inevitable confrontation happened last night. I was at my place, going over some business plans with my sister Jenna. We had my laptop connected to the big TV, looking at the new portfolio website she had built with her new gear. The quality of her work had skyrocketed. She was already getting inquiries from bigger clients. She was buzzing with energy and ideas. Then, the buzzer rang. I knew it was Monica. I let her up. I wanted her to see this. When I opened the door, she looked exhausted. The vacation glow was gone, replaced by a pale, stressed look. She started in immediately, no preamble. Her voice was high and shaky with anger. What is wrong with you? She demanded. You pack up my stuff. You send it to Tiffany's. You cancel my credit card. All because I wanted to go on a trip with my friends. I didn't say anything. I just leaned against the doorframe, hands in my pockets, and let her vent. It was a long, rambling tirade about how I was controlling and petty and how I'd humiliated her. And after everything I did for this relationship, she finished, breathing heavily. I almost laughed at that one. What exactly did you do, Monica? I asked, my voice genuinely curious. Besides occupy space and spend my money? Her face crumpled. The anger was fading, replaced by the dawning horror of her situation. I thought you loved me, she whispered. I did, I said, and it was true. But love doesn't mean you get to be a spoiled, ungrateful child. You made your priorities clear. You wanted a financier, not a partner. You posted that meme for the whole world to see, to shame me into giving you what you wanted. All I did was take you at your word. She shook her head, tears welling up in her eyes. It was just a stupid post. I was upset. You can't throw away 2 years over a post. It was never about the post, Monica. It was about what it represented. It was the entitlement, the idea that you deserve to have your life funded by someone else. And if they don't comply, they're a bad person. He said if he wanted to, he would. I wanted to take you to Italy. I wanted to build a life with you. What I didn't want was to pay for a $4,000 party so you could impress your vapid friends. So you're right. I didn't want to. I wouldn't. It was then that she seemed to notice Jenna for the first time. My sister had been sitting quietly on the couch, but now she stood up, looking a bit uncomfortable. Monica's eyes narrowed. She scanned Jenna, then her gaze fell on the table where the brand new, high-end laptop and drawing tablet were sitting. I saw the moment of recognition. It was the exact setup she had been sending me links to for months, complaining about how her old laptop was too slow for content creation. What is this? Monica asked, her voice dangerously quiet. She pointed at the equipment. That, I said with a slight smile, is what I did want to do. Jenna, bless her heart, chose that moment to speak up. Mark made an investment in my business, she said, her voice clear and proud. I'm paying him back with my first big contract. The look on Monica's face was a priceless work of art. It was a slow-motion car crash of emotions, confusion, then dawning realization, then pure, unadulterated fury mixed with a kind of pathetic despair. She wasn't looking at a new girlfriend. She was looking at something much worse. She was looking at a smart investment. She was looking at a person who was given the resources she felt entitled to and who was actually doing something with them. The money from her cancelled anniversary trip didn't just disappear. It was repurposed. It was given to someone with talent and a work ethic. She just stared, speechless. The whole narrative she had built in her head, that I was cheap, that I didn't care, that I was holding her back, it all fell apart in that one moment. I wasn't unwilling to spend the money. I was just unwilling to spend it on her. So that's it, she finally said, her voice hollow. You replaced me with your sister. Don't be ridiculous, I said. I didn't replace you with anyone. I replaced a bad investment with a good one. You were a liability. Jenna is an asset, it's just simple math. You should go, Monica, we're busy. I didn't slam the door. I just closed it gently in her face. I could hear her standing there in the hallway for a long time before she finally walked away. Jenna and I stood there in the silence for a moment. Then she looked at me. That was intense. That, I said picking up my coffee cup, was me wanting to. My life is a lot simpler now, and quieter, and more profitable. Jenna's business is taking off, and I have a feeling that investment is going to pay off in more ways than one. Monica learned a hard lesson in economics. She found out that when you put a price tag on everything, sometimes you get sold off for parts, and sometimes the person you thought was a bad boyfriend turns out to be a very good venture capitalist.